We must know who we are, or else other people, entities, other witches, warlocks, narcissists will see who we are, take from our energy, and then present themselves to us as if they are who we are and we are who they are. Don't let that go over your head. Don't let that go over your head. I've been being called to make a video on destiny swapping, but specifically on how exactly it happens on a spiritual plane or on a spiritual front, because a lot of people don't actually understand where their destiny lies and how someone is able to pull on their destiny. And so these are the things that I want to make clear in this video today. So hello, beautiful people. It is Oshun Kimmy, your sage, your guru, your mystic, and your spiritual informant. And today we're going to get deep into some spiritual esoteric tea as to how sorcerers and dark witches are able to steal and pull from people's destiny. And so this is where we have to understand the concept of a spiritual market. The same way that you can go into a physical market and there's going to be all types of fruits and vegetables and grains and breads, it's the same way on a spiritual market. There's going to be all types of different things that can be kind of purchased or bargained for in a spiritual market. So basically, one of those things that can be purchased in the spiritual market is destinies. Souls can be purchased in the spiritual market. Bodies can be purchased in the spiritual market. So destinies also and energy can be purchased in a spiritual market. So when we are dealing with someone's destiny being up for sale or up for grabs in the spiritual market, let's talk a little bit about how this happens. For one, we need to understand that destiny is an energy. It's not a place, it's not a destination, it is a literal energy. There are certain places on the body or around the energy body that the destiny is going to be. The primary place is going to be the head and above the head. So there are various gateways to our destiny, energetic gateways to our destiny that exist right above the head. So if you've ever heard the saying of someone is stealing your stars, we can think of our destiny as stars, our North Star that exist above our head, and it's supposed to give us direction in our life as to which way to go, left or right? The energy of our destiny also resides at other parts of the body. I'm getting a nudge from my spirit team to not talk about it publicly on the YouTube as to other places where the destiny resides. But if you're on the Patreon, we've already had this conversation. So when it comes to your stars being stolen, or your destiny basically being on the market, this can happen in a variety of ways. We can actually lose our own stars. So sometimes it's not necessarily that a witch or a warlock took the star directly from your head. They actually pulled it from the market because a piece of your destiny was already on a market. So you may wonder, how did my destiny get on a market? Our destiny can end up on a spiritual market when we are not following the proper spiritual path that we agreed to do while we were in heaven. So when we are in heaven, we have a spiritual contract, essentially, that says, when I go to earth, I'm going to do these, and these things. And sometimes we give ages to those things where we say, I'm going to do this thing by 15. I'm going to do this by 20. I'm going to do this by 27. And if you don't actually do those things by the time frame or within the time frame that you said you would do it, parts of that destiny end up on the market. Or if you are in a situation where your destiny was very monumental and you are scheduled to do certain things by a certain age, you will have witches and entities and dark forces taking that piece of your destiny specifically to hoard within their own realms. So yes, various types of entities can pull pieces of your star and hold it within their own realms and within their own kingdoms. And so if a witch or a warlock works with that particular type of entity, they can go to that entity and bargain for certain spiritual powers, certain material gain, and etc. And the entity who has the pieces of your star or the pieces of your destiny will say, this is what I have, essentially. This is what I have on the market. So part of this market is ran by entities, dark entities. And so the entity will say, this is whose destiny I have already been pulling on. These are the pieces that I have. I have this person's health. I have this person's wealth. I have this person's lineage, etc., etc. And whoever the witch or the warlock is that is trying to buy from this entity will have an access point to all of the various energies and destinies that that entity has access to. Please let me know if this is making sense, and if it is not, drop your questions in the comment section. And so when you are in a situation where you've actually been noticing, I've been experiencing spiritual warfare my whole life, so it actually did not start with this witch or warlock. It is because it actually starts with an entity. It actually starts with the spiritual market where your destiny has already been being pulled or siphoned on. So to take this a little bit deeper, there are situations where your destiny can pass from hand to hand to hand. So there are situations where various people can have access to your North Star, aka your destiny. And so our destinies can actually be pulled from and stolen without like formal witchcraft. There aren't no candles involved, no sacrifices involved, or anything like that. But if you sleep with a person, that person can siphon bits of your destiny and your energy. This is why you can see situations where a couple is unequally yoked as they begin to mate and come together. The person with the higher spiritual stature is going to have their energy drained by the person with the lower spiritual stature. And so this is where we're getting into the energy of destiny swapping, karmic transference. So the person who had more ends up with less, and the person who came in with less elevate in spiritual rank based off the energy they siphoned from this person in this particular relationship. So I always say destiny swapping, the main way that I see it is through relationships. Even friendships can be situations of destiny swaps. So essentially, pieces of our destiny can end up on a market or end up in other people's pockets based on whether we are fulfilling the contracts or terms of our destiny. So if we have certain talents, we have a knack for language, we have a knack for computers, but we're not using those talents, guess what? That energy can be pulled. As I've talked about before, and people get mad, but it's the spiritual truth. If the energy is not being used, it's technically up for grabs. And this is where understanding energy and energy alchemy comes in. Because if you are actively using the energy, then that energy is wrapped up. So it can't be pulled from because it's already charging something up. It's already powering something up. But if you just have a bunch of latent energy sitting around, guess who's going to notice? Witches, warlocks, entities, those narcissistic people, those sociopathic people come in, they see you, see your light, and they want to eat it. That is how our destiny ends up in the hands, the pockets, the mouths of people who are not equal to us in spiritual stature because we're not using our full spiritual power. Narcissists, witches, entities, warlocks will cloak themselves in your energy, will wear your power, will use your power because you're not using it. So we have to know our own spiritual power. We got to use it. We got to stand in it, and we got to create the life we came here to create, or else bits and pieces of our destiny and our energy end up in places they don't belong. I think I'm going to leave this conversation here because I know this video seems short, but it's a lot of information packed into this video. So please be sure to take your notes so that you can have a notebook full of spiritual esoteric teachings that I had to go through hell and back to receive, and that you get to receive from the comfort of your own home. If you need a session to talk specifically about you and your particular situation, please feel free to book a one-on-one reading with me where we will tap into your spirit team, talk with your spirit guides, and see what it is you need to know. If you like the conversations we have here on the YouTube and you are ready to take your spiritual knowledge and awareness to a higher level, this is where I recommend you joining the Patreon. May enlightenment be forever upon you. Ashe.